Would you like to see an X-ray of your soul, an X-ray of your emotional infrastructure? Well, just like the body, today with scans, with X-rays, with different types of technologies, we can see the inner workings of what makes us tick. We have a blueprint that will give you a picture of the spectrum of your emotions, an understanding how they work and what you can do to improve them. Check out the description below, the special Omer book, 49 steps. Personal refinement, character development, understanding and cultivating the very nature of your emotional being. I remember, it's probably now 35 years ago, my son came home from school one day. He was very excited. You know, as a father, your son's excited, you get excited. And I said, why are you so excited? He says, I heard something really nice today. And I asked him, what is it that you heard? He said, I heard you were born an original, don't become a copy. That's where I first heard it. And I was impressed, and I never forgot it till this very day. A little while ago, a few years ago, I decided to ask my son, do you remember that day you came home from school? My son is almost 40 years old now. He didn't remember. I remembered, he didn't remember. So I said, you told me then that you heard you were born an original, don't become a copy. I said, so what happened with you? Are you an original or a copy? Now, no pun intended, he happens to be a copywriter. He's a creative director, really good with words, takes people's vision, turns it into messaging. So he said, I'm an original copy, whatever that means. The fact of the matter is that we're all born originals, you and I. We all have something unique, completely unique about us, that is irreplaceable. What you need to contribute, what you can accomplish, your unique variation is only you and only you can accomplish. It's as simple as that. But life puts on many demands and pressures upon each of us. The need, the demands, the pressure, expectations to conform. Whether it's conform to our parents, to conform to our parents' standards, to our schools, our educators, marketers, influencers, all till this very day. We're inundated by everyone trying to get us to fit into what they want or need from us, to buy a product, to do a certain thing. No, that's a fact of life. We don't even know how much we're impacted by these forces. So you have to ask yourself the question, who are you right now? Are you that original, freshly fallen snow, not tread upon, not shaped or defined by anybody? Or have you become somebody else's product, someone else's clone, someone's serving someone's needs? I'm not suggesting that we're all slaves. Maybe some of us are, but I am suggesting that it's hard to determine. Have you found your own voice? And that's what I want to focus on. A big part of my mission in life is for myself and to help others find your voice, to dare to sing your unique song. I often quote Oliver Wendell Holmes' tragic poem, The Voiceless, where he begins, alas, to those that die with their song still inside them. Alas to those that die with their song still inside them. That alone can make you cry. Some people combine it, I think it's, I don't know if there's any source for it, combined with Thoreau's line, most men lead lives of quiet desperation, and then they add, and die with their song still inside them. It works well together. But regardless, let's talk about that. You have a song. You have many songs. According to the mystics, you are a song. You're a walking song. And your song is unique to you. No one else can sing your song. And do we sing our song in our lives? But as I said, so much takes place that puts all kinds of expectations and demands and pressures that we don't sing our song, and secondly, not even know that we have a song. So in a sense, in a way, it's like a life, an opportunity lost. That what you need to accomplish, that you can accomplish, you're not really living up to. And I'm not saying it to make anyone depressed. On the contrary, my objective is to motivate ourselves to sing that song, to find that song. So let's discuss how you do that. How can a person find that original part of themselves when we've been so much shaped by others? Remember, programming is such that it programs you to not even know that you are programmed, to the point that we can convince ourselves everything is, we're free and we do whatever we like. Don't confuse freedom with movement, freedom to move about. You don't have to be in a prison, in shackles, physical shackles, to be enslaved. You can be enslaved psychologically, emotionally, to anything that is causing you to inhibit you, fears, insecurities that don't allow you to speak your voice. These are invisible forces. They're not necessarily overt prisons and ball and chain. They internally, in some way, impede your ability to be yourself. I mean, do you think that so many of us would be going to therapy or self-medicating or getting trapped into any different types of desperate attempts to relieve some of the existential pain and loneliness of life if we really were comfortable in our own skin? So I know it's a big mouthful and a big load to carry, but let's talk about this bluntly, because it is about your life and your destiny. It's about you. So there's a very interesting statement in the Bible. It talks about Abraham, great Abraham, how he became the pioneer, the giant he was. You always want to know, where's that crossroad, that juncture, that point where something shifts. So the Bible tells us that Abraham is commanded by God to leave where he's living. But it's interesting, 3 expressions are used. Leave your land, your birthplace, and the home of your parents, and go to the land that I will show you. It doesn't tell us where that land, that he'll be shown. But when it comes to the point of departure, 3 different expressions used which seem redundant. You know where you are. So just tell somebody, leave where you are, and I'll tell you where to go. Go north, south, east, west. What city, what country, what city, what street. But here's reversed. The point of destination is very vague. The land I will show you. The point of departure is very specific. 3 different expressions. Think about it. Because the real secret to movement in life is not always knowing. People talk about know your destination, know your goal, and then work your way back from your goal to where you are now. There's truth to that, but some of the deepest things in life is not necessarily always knowing the destination. It's knowing what's trapping you from getting there. How often are we motivated, stimulated, and we really want to get to a new place in life? And you embark on the journey, and all committed, all excited, and a little time passes, you're back to square one. What happened? Were you delusional? Were you not interested? Were you not really driven? What you don't realize is you could be driven, but you could have a ball and chain that's keeping you trapped. So as much as you want to, it could be your habits, your routines. You think somebody likes biting their nails? Or other addictions and habits? Nobody likes it. But it traps you to the point of certain inertia that's more powerful than the ability to change. So what the verse is telling us, there are 3 forms of subjectivity that you must be aware of. Because half the cure of any problem is awareness. And what are the 3 types of subjectivity that block us? First, self-love. Your natural inherent subjectivity, where you're biased, you're prejudiced about yourself. You minimize things, you have blind spots, self-interest. It's number one. The next is the influence of your parents, their attitudes, their expectations, their demands, subtle, not so subtle. And number three, cultural and social pressure, peer pressure, those around us. We want to feel like we're out of the box a bit, but not too much. We don't want to be scoffed at. We don't want to be mocked. We don't want to be laughed at. We want to fit it. And every culture and every society has its unwritten rules or written rules. And in a way, you'll be blacklisted, directly, indirectly, but in some way, you have to fit in. These are the three forces that Abraham was told, leave. Leave your natural subjectivity. It doesn't mean you can't free yourself of your subjectivity, but you can become aware of it. And you counter it by getting objective advice, by recognizing that you maybe have a blind spot and finding a way to counter it. Two, as good as your parents may be, you need to grow up and need to be your own man, your own woman. And three, social pressures. So we're not suggesting that every natural subjective interest of yours or parental influence or social pressures are all bad, but you need to be aware of how much it's affecting you. And then when you can free yourself of those things to some extent, then the destination will emerge, the land that I will show you who you really are. So when we ask ourselves the question, who am I? If I were to somewhat strip myself from the influences of my early formative years, my education, my parents, social, who am I? It's hard to know because many of the decisions were made for you before you were able to even make a decision. What school to go to, what attitude to have, different prejudices, different stereotypes. So the journey begins by that self-awareness of saying there are things that have shaped me. I need to start finding myself separate from those influences. Can we completely eliminate them? That's not the goal. The goal is awareness. Awareness. There's this guy who was having difficulties finding his soulmate. And he tells me, I tried everything. I think I have a curse on me. I need you to get rid of the curse. As soon as I heard that, I realized that itself is a problem. So I said to him, how do you know you tried everything? Trust me, I've been doing this a long time. So I said, I still think we need to go through all the usual suspects and try. No, I said, do you think you have any blind spots? Yes, but I know where they are. That was it. He knows where they are. I said, then it's not a blind spot if you know where they are. He was unable to accept that there may be something he hasn't tried. That's already a problem. I'm not saying maybe he did try everything, but you have to at least be ready to be challenged. You're not going to grow. I mean, it's a classic cliche. Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. Or as the way I like to put it, if you think what you thought, and you say what you said, and you do what you did, you know what you're going to have? What you had. It's a mathematical certainty. But that truth, that truism, that is so elusive because we do want to stay in our comfort zone. We usually choose the path of least resistance. If I could stay where I am, even if it's not great, that's usually the path you'll choose unless that's less comfortable than the other options, the alternatives. But to really be an honest person, to find yourself, you have to realize, yes, you may have songs that have not been sung, and it's time to sing them. So the first step is recognizing those subjectivities and then allowing yourself. Now, what else can be done? Fresh air. Let's call it fresh air. Opening up the window, which means opening yourself up to new perspectives. Just like recognizing that there are old perspectives that can be trapping you, and the three categories I mentioned, inherent, parental, and social forces that keep us subjective, there's also fresh things. A new friend, a new book, a new idea. Don't be afraid. I often ask people, if you go to a party, who do you gravitate to? People you know, people you don't know. Most say to the people I know. It's more comfortable. Try going over to people you don't know. People you know, excuse me, you can always speak to at other times. The people you don't know may be a little less comfortable to break the ice, to get know each other, but you will learn new things. That's key. Fresh air, new perspectives, new ideas, a new book, a new way. And challenge yourself. One of the things I've trained myself all the time, and I do this in my office with my team, with people I work with, come up with an idea. That's a good idea, crazy idea, whatever. Then you start stretching the idea and you say to people, challenge this idea. They say, but it was your idea. I said, no, we need to challenge, we need to stretch it. We need to think, let's say you did the exact opposite of this idea. Well, why would you say that? Because that's the way we can really get to the crystallization of clarity. Is this a good idea or not? You want to always be able to challenge yourself and challenge all your assumptions and your givens. So that's another tool that helps you broaden the horizons, open up your mind to another way of looking at it. And when that happens, new songs will begin to emerge because they're right there inside you waiting to be released. The problem is, like every good music, it can be drowned out by the loud turbulence and the loud commotion of the world around us. That's what the rush hour does. When there's a lot of noise, you don't hear the subtleties. You don't hear your own voice. Which leads me to yet another suggestion. The people you hang around with. They often tell you a lot about you. Because often we choose people that are like ourselves, that confirm and affirm our own views, our own perspectives, our own stereotypes. What you want to do is be around people who are bold, ambitious, dare to try things that are new, something fresh, that encourage it. Don't encourage conformity, stagnation, but encourage something completely different. People who challenge you. It's good to have people who disagree with you. And I'm talking about from a healthy place. I don't mean people who just like to argue for no end in itself except just to argue. I'm talking about positive skepticism, positive questioning, positive curiosity, open, free inquiry. These are the things that allow new scenarios, new possibilities to open up. And then the final point, which is there is the song inside you. There is. You want people who respect you for that, and they want you to sing that song. It's not always easy, because if you haven't done it for a long time, it's very uncomfortable. It's awkward. You may feel insecure. So you don't have to jump. Do it step by step. Find the things that resonate with you. Don't be afraid to say, this resonates with me. This doesn't mean we should not do anything that doesn't resonate, but be honest and be able to say to yourself, this really rings true. And if it doesn't, ask the right questions. Obviously, we're not always going to be the best arbiter because we're not always so aware. But you have to be able to respect your own instincts, your antennae. And also you don't want to be trapped by your oversensitivity, having been hurt. So you've been disappointed, you don't want to try something new because you don't want to be hurt again. All that has to come into the equation. But the most beautiful thing of all is to know you have that tremendous potential within you. And maybe you have begun singing your song, and it's never too late to sing your song, your unique song. It usually will be seen in the things you gravitate to. It could be the things that you really enjoy. It could be music, it could be art, it could be other areas. But allow yourself and be around people who encourage that. Michelangelo, always quoting the classic Michelangelo, when he was asked, how do you carve those beautiful angels in the marble? And he said, I see the angels trapped in the marble. I carved and set them free. It's all there within you. You know, some people say, buy this, read that, do that. They think outside. It's not outside commodities that are going to help you find yourself. Yourself is right here within you. What you need to do is carve. You know, some of us are trapped in marble, some of us in concrete, some of us in other substances. The key is to carve, to chisel away, allow your voice to express itself, your calling, your mission. Things that when you finish the day, end of the day, you say, I did something today, it really resonated with me, it really felt right. And find the right people that encourage and support that. You were born an original. Don't become a copy. Simon Jacobson here, meaningfullife.com. Please subscribe to our offerings, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please share. Please love to hear your feedback, comments, thoughts, suggestions. Love to hear your voice. your song. If no one else, please share it with me, and I will hopefully respond if you leave me a way to reach and contact you. Sing your song. Don't let it be trapped within you. And I feel it's a great honor to be able to help, in any way support and encourage you to spread your wings and soar. Thank you so much. Be well and be